So we're here to talk about insurtech, and since you're here, I assume you know what it is, but just in case, it's the crossover between insurance and technology, of course, and how it can change the face of insurance as we know it. And more specifically, we're going to look at the European market, but the way I see insurtech is also a subpart of Fintech, and that's what I love to start with, because we talk a lot about embedded insurance as a trend. For people who want to understand what it is, we're going to talk a lot about it in this panel. So Jean-Charles, I'd love to hear your explanation of embedded insurance as a parallel with Fintech.
Sure, thank you. So I'm JC, I'm the co-founder of Qover. Qover, where we play at home here because we're a Belgium insurtech. We do very large pan-European digital embedded insurance. We call it embedded insurance orchestration. But I think the interesting part about embedded insurance, how to best explain it, is that historically, insurance was always purchased as a separate product. So you would buy a car, you would buy a bike, you would buy an electronic product, so a goods or a service. And next to that, you would go and buy a financial product. The whole idea of embedded insurance or embedded finance is to say, well, we're going to actually embed those two together. And a very good use case, if I keep it Belgium because we're in Belgium, typically we do the insurances of Cowboy. Cowboy is an electric bike manufacturer, so you will go and configure your bike, and at the end there's just a button that says, do you want insurance? And you can just click on that button, the insurance goes into the card, and your bike is insured directly. The thing that is a bit special about Qover is that we do that in a pan-European way. So we work in 32 countries, and so that solution, that it's only one API integration for Cowboy, but that works directly for the whole of Europe. And so the real idea of embedded insurance is really to make it seamless, and insurance just needs to be there, and you don't have to go and shop around. It's just present at the moment, and it's there when you need it.
Mm-hmm. And Meeri, you were also telling me that most of your sales happen through partnerships, actually. So can you talk a bit about your business model?
Yes, hi, I'm Meeri. I'm co-founder of INZMO, and INZMO is also embedded insurance provider, but we're focused on everything related to rental industry. So we're serving primarily tenants and landlords with different insurance products. We are interested in insuring rental homes and all the home contents that you might have. And we also love the concept of embedded insurance because how we see insurance, it's not something that people enjoy to buy as a separate product. I mean, it's nothing sexy. Nobody wakes up 3 a.m. in the morning like for next Apple product, right? So it's something that is necessary, but it's something we don't want to hassle with, right? So we see that insurance has to be hidden in other products and services, which means that it's there when you buy your next home appliance, it's there when you rent a home, and so on and so forth. So it's hidden, you know it's there, and it doesn't take you any time to hassle with it. So this is just one part of the insurance that, we are excited about, how people take out the insurance policy. But same goes to the expectation towards everything that happens when you take out the policy, right? Because I expect that when I need to change the policy or manage the policy or submit a claim, everything happens in an instant also. So we're also taking pretty seriously this part, what comes after the sale, so which means that we're developing claims handling processes that are happening instantly. You drop your phone, you get the money on your bank account in 5 minutes, and so on and so forth. So this is the kind of expectation that not just the taking out of the policy is seamless, but also everything, when I actually need the product, it has to happen in an instant.
Mm-hmm. And Pauline, as a VC, how do you see embedded insurance companies? Because personally, as a journalist, I hear that they're more resilient than other probably business models right now in terms of sales.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Pauline. I work for BlackFin, which is a fintech and insurtech VC fund. We invest across Europe in early stage, so fintech and insurtechs. So our view on embedded insurance is that it's definitely super interesting as it solves the problem of the broken distribution, that it's obviously, you don't wake up in the middle of the night to buy insurance. And when I bought my cowboy, I was super happy to see that there was a plan, insurance plan, super ready for me. But so it solves that distribution that is broken. But most importantly, it's way more efficient from a unit economic point of view. These are products with very low margins. We need to have a lot of volume to make money as a distributor or an insurer. So when you spend a lot of money acquiring customers online and spending on marketing and stuff can be quite expensive. So it's not worth it. That's what I want to say. So embedded insurance definitely solves for that two issues.
And just as a follow-on, would you mind telling us the insurtech companies you've invested in or what they do? Because I think that gives an overview a bit of the trends in the market.
Sure. So we didn't invest in embedded insurance just yet. that may happen in the future. But we spent a lot of time in the industry, and it's just starting, frankly. So we're not, it's not like we missed the train or anything else. So for us, it's here to stay, and it's gonna continue to exist. But so far in insurtech, we've invested in other type of businesses that are selling to insurers mostly, and helping them to compete, I would say, with the neo-brokers and neo-distributors, and to be way more efficient in the way they operate, the way they'll sell product, the way they optimize their book as insurance, so they can optimize pricing for certain type of risks and for various type of exposition. So we've invested in a few startups, but selling to insurers mostly to allow them to be better and more efficient.
Mm-hmm. And talking about what traditional insurance can't do, I know we talked about that, and which gaps are you filling, basically, that they were not addressing?
Sure. So insurance companies are huge companies, are legacy companies. They're here to stay. It's not like insurtech are going to completely disrupt them in the next 10 years. So I think the pie is getting bigger, and we're taking part of the pie. Where I think, at least in embedded insurance, where our real value is if you look at tech companies that want to embed insurance, because everybody needs insurance. Whatever vertical you're in, you need insurance. May it be motor, may it be property, may it be any sector you might come up. And all those companies need insurance either to embed it in their product or service, to enhance their product or service, either to cross-sell, upsell insurance, and to actually make a bit of money, have a new revenue stream. And when we look at those tech companies that want insurance needs to be two things for them. First, it needs to be digital, and second, it needs to be cross-border. And when you look at the legacy industry, well, first of all, they're not digital, or very sketchily so. It doesn't really work. And secondly, and that's maybe even most importantly, they're fundamentally local. So if you take a traditional insurance company like Allianz is basically a financial holding in Munich, holding Allianz Brussels, Allianz Paris, Allianz Amsterdam. The Allianz Brussels and Allianz Paris, they have nothing to do with each other. It's two completely separate companies. Even the CEOs don't know each other. They might meet once a year at a dinner party in Munich. And so what does it mean is that on those companies that want to embed insurance, those tech companies, well, it's very hard for them to work with legacy companies because they have to rebuild it block by block by block to go pan-European. And so that's the problem we try to solve, is that in a fully digital way, we build pan-European products that make it possible for lots of companies to start easily to embed insurance. And typically our biggest client is Tesla. We signed Tesla for the whole of Europe. And so we inserted basically electric car insurance at the moment of sale everywhere in 14 European countries for Tesla. And for Tesla, it's one API integration, but we built a full infrastructure for them behind. And that was very complicated for a traditional insurer to do.
Mm-hmm. And Meeri, you're taking a different approach, right? Because you're from Estonia, but you're focusing on one market right now, which is Germany. Does it have to do with what legacy insurers were doing, or do you want to go to markets one by one? What's your take on being pan-European?
Yeah, so our biggest market today is Germany. So we started focusing on one, but the most significant market, just to build up a good footprint and to leverage from this experience. We already do have programs that elsewhere outside Germany. We have a program with Samsung in the Nordics, which is expanding all over Europe. And we have already started to establish partnerships in the Iberia section, Portugal, Italy, Spain. So this year we will be definitely out also in other markets. But yeah, I fully agree with JC said that, you know, it's super difficult to find underwriters that are capable of giving you products that are pan-European, right? There are few, right? And that can also, at the same time, keep up with the speed of a startup, right? Because there might be, you know, some more ambitious that really like want to do a business case with you, but you know, you will wait for 12 to 18 months to get a product launched. I mean, normally startup die 3 times in 18 months, you know, and we don't have the patience. But there are like smaller ones that, you know, companies, insurtechs can work together with. So in that sense, yes, it's super important when you're successful with your concept in one country to expand it to all across Europe and find good partners that help you to underwrite the business over there.
Mm-hmm. So Pauline, first, if you want to react to that, and then I was curious to know how you expect insurers to interact with startups. Is it going to be through corporate venture capital? Is it going to be through acquisitions, both? And what's going to happen first?
Yeah, so I would start to second everything that has been said by saying that it goes back to the way insurers are structured across Europe. Like, as you said, the CEOs don't even know each other. Like, we're seeing this with our portfolio companies selling, so mostly software to the insurers, but these are super long sales cycles, like typically last 2, even 3 years for some insurance companies. And then when they're done with like AXA or Allianz or whatever in one country, and they have to start all over again to expand to another country. So it's taking like insane amount of time to sell, and you have like only few group contracts, and it's taking them like 5 to 6 years to go after them. So it's super hard to have, like, obviously for you to have like a policy that's international, but even from a selling point of view, when you want to partner with insurers, like it's a pain because you have to start all over again. Now, how insurers are going to work with insurtechs in the future, I think it's a mix of everything. They'll have to obviously acquire or partner, but it's a mix of buy and build depending on the price and the solution that they find. We're seeing some CVCs out there. They are quite active, actually. They're the reinsurer, mostly CVCs are super active, but even the insurers like AXA had a quite strong position in France, for example. They are mostly here to do some kind of watch, see what's going on, and that's the way it works. The innovation departments are, I would say, good, but if you as a startup wants to really partner or sell something to the insurance companies, maybe you don't need to start there because it's going to add you like 6 months on top of your sales cycle, so you shouldn't specifically. But yeah, no, it's a mix of buy and build and partner, and just realizing it's going to take a long time for you to convert an insurer.
Mm-hmm. And talking about pain, I know, JC, you and I talked about Brexit, and you said it's not a blocker, but I was curious about the impact that it has on conducting business.
Well, Brexit doesn't make anything easy for anybody. I think typically for us, UK was already a big country before Brexit. Well, we were still a small company, but represented something important. It makes everything more complicated. It's not rocket science to go and get a license from the FCA for us, but it's, again, quite an administrative burden. It's much more a burden for insurance companies. Obviously, there it's a huge project. On working with incumbents, I think as an MGA, so we're kind of super broker for, if you don't know MGA.
I'm not sure people know a super broker either.
Well, you know what your traditional insurance broker is.
Yeah.
And then you have MGA, which is like a super broker to make it easy. And we go and get capacity from the insurers. And so typically we work with 12 insurers behind, basically all of them. And there, I must say, on the underwriting side, the only thing they have to do is actually take the risk on their books. We will create a product. They do part of the pricing and take it on the books, but we will do the product, we will do the tech, we will do most of the claims and the operations, and then we'll do the sales cycle. So there, they only have to take the risk on their books. I must say there, it's pretty good to work with them because they want to do business. You bring them yet new business, interesting businesses, new businesses, and there, I think the pace of the can always goes faster, but it's pretty good.
Underwriting is pricing risk, right? If we can shorten it.
Underwriting is pricing risk, yes. It's deciding, exactly.
What's been your experience working with incumbents?
I would agree here with JC that as much as you can take away from the insurance company as an MGA, the faster you will be. Because if you will be waiting and expecting a lot from them, in addition to just terms and condition, pricing, and some simple agreements and where you can play, then you can be great as an agent or as a tech company. But if, for example, the incumbents are handling the claims and all the customer support on that end, it might really hurt your whole customer experience. So you have to take as much as possible from the whole value chain on your own table, make sure that you will nail it, and then at the end of the day, everybody will win, because the underwriters want to underwrite. Often when they're launching innovative products together with startups, they don't have this capacity in-house to do the claims handling, the support, and so they have to start allocating resources, which is going to take even more time. So they're happy to actually hand it away and give it to MGAs to take care of and make sure that the customer experience is great and is being done in a proper way. So in that sense, everybody will win. But of course, in the beginning of our days, we also have had some different experiences where, again, we as a young startup were looking or waiting for quite a long time for products, and we were literally sitting and waiting. We were ready, and we were bleeding money, and so for us it was like a near-death experience until we then constantly were looking for other underwriters, and then we eventually found the ones who can be a little bit more dynamic and hand over more responsibilities to ourselves, so that we as an MGA can be fast on the market.
Mm-hmm. And this panel is also about what's next in the market, and one of the trends I've been hearing about a lot is parametric insurance. So JC, would you mind explaining what that is and what you've been seeing in that space, maybe?
Sure. Parametric insurance is the idea that at the moment of claim, typically, a claim can be paid automatically, to make it super simple. And so one of the use cases, and I think one of your companies in your portfolio is doing that, is typically if you have weather insurance. Okay, so you have a farmer having weather insurance on a certain crop. Well, with data, you can go and see what type of weather, how much rainfall there was at a certain point. And then from there, you can decide that automatically that there is a claim, and automatically the claim will be paid. Another use case is typically ticket insurance in the airlines. You can know automatically very easily which flight has been cancelled and so forth, and so you can repay it directly. We said in the beginning of Qover that all insurances would be embedded and parametric at one point. Embedded, I still believe in it. Parametric, yes, but on certain use cases. Mm-hmm. I think it's very relevant for a certain number of use cases. For others, it's more difficult.
But I agree, the use cases are more diverse than weather. That's what's been really interesting to watch. What's your take, Pauline? Do you think all insurance is going to be embedded in parametric?
No, super hard, because you need that triggering event that needs to be defined, and that need to be it needs to be a quantitative event as well. That you need, So it's super hard to apply that to everything. It works well for climate tech, so Descartes underwriting that we have in our portfolio. It can work well for business interruption with some type of cyber insurance. And by the way, that's one that's hard to find capacity for these days. But yeah, no. So. Not everything works, but it definitely helps to bring way more transparency and efficiency to the insurance industry.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.